I'm in South Carolina, and there was a man that recommended to me that I not go walking in the swamp because he said, honey, if you go walking in the swamp, you're going to take a step and you're going to sink, and then you're going to pull your foot out, but the swamp is going to just swallow your boot right up. I won't be walking in the swamp. And I'll also quit with the accent. So I had an opportunity the other day to have a conversation with this elderly gentleman. He looked to be about late 70s probably, and he was fishing off this pier. And he said he'd been coming to that same spot for years, but he said, I missed 2019 and 2020, and I guess he had some sort of a disease or sickness that attacked his body, and he wasn't able to be up and around. But then he said some words that I loved. He said, but I'm back. And it made me think of Proverbs 29, where it says, where there's no vision, the people perish. Your eyes are always going to be on something. The question is, are you going to be directing that attention in the right spot? So I'm imagining that man, when he was sick, thinking about the day that he would get to be out on that pier again. You know, in our life, that when we get setbacks, you know, something that just hits you, that just kind of knocks your feet right out from under you, and you never saw it coming, and you're like, why? Right? The big question is WHY. Why, God, am I in this situation right now? And too many times we can get stuck there. God says in Hebrews 12, got my Bible. Hebrews 12 says, wherefore, seeing we also are compassed about with so great a cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside every weight and the sin which does so easily beset us, and let us run with patience the race that is set before us, looking unto Jesus, the author and finisher of our faith. Consider him. Keep your eyes on him. Fix your eyes on him. Start running again. I think of any running race, like any, I always like to, back in good old middle school, when we had track and field days, I did not enjoy, I was not very athletic. And so I would go in the relay races, because if I went in the relay, there were 3 other people. If I was on their team, I would get a ribbon. Anyway, you think of any race, or even like hurdles or something, man, they make it look so easy. If those people, if they tripped, if they fell, whatever, their shoelace came undone, fell over a hurdle, if they stop right there and thinking, oh, I wonder why I fell, I wonder why I tripped. No, you don't do that, because you got a race to finish. We've got a race to complete. And when we spend way too much time asking why and getting down about, you know, where you could be and where you should be, or if I wouldn't have made that decision back there, we need to get our eyes fixed back on Jesus, fixed on what he wants us to do, and get back on that track and keep running. We don't want to slow down. We don't want to get bogged down with the things that easily beset us, like the word said. So if you're like in the marsh and you lost a boot, take a step back, say, Lord, help me get back into the race that you've set before me, so that I can finish my course with joy, because he also did that. He finished his course with the joy set before him. Jesus had a goal, he had a race, and he ran it, and he asks us to do the same, so that when we get to heaven, he's going to say, well done, good and faithful servant. He's going to say, thank you for running the race. Thank you for getting back up. And we want to do that. We want to finish well. We want to do well. And we don't want to be sitting on the sidelines watching everybody else run their race, because that's not our calling either. Our calling is to get on that track with every other believer out there and run this race that God has set for us. And having a vision, having a picture of that finish line on the inside of you, so that by the time you get there, you're like, I've seen this, I know this, check it off the list. Keep running, and don't quit, don't give up, don't get weary in well doing. In due season you will reap if you faint not.